Hey guys, I'm Caroline and welcome to Surya Namaskara B, part of the Beginner Yoga series. So in this Sun Salutation, we're going to start testing a little bit more of our balance and also kind of honing in on the strength aspect. So grab your blocks, they're really going to be helpful in this one, and I will see you on your mat. Starting up at the top of our mat, toes together, heels slightly apart. Again, finding mountain pose. Engaging that Pada Bandha, pulling our toes up, arches of our feet up, engaging the knees and quads, pulling them up and in, squeezing that Mula Bandha as if you have to go to the bathroom, you don't want to let it out, engaging Uddiyana Bandha in the navel area, pulling that up and in, kind of harnessing all of that energy, keeping it in the body. We're going to utilize that in our practice today. Palms of the hands can face the front of the room. Drawing the shoulders down away from the ears, pulling the crown of the head up toward the sky, elongating our neck, relaxing the muscles around our jaw, our eyes. Taking our first deep breath in, pausing at the top, and on the exhale with a slight restriction in the throat. Deep breath in. Sipping in a little bit more at the top. And big exhale. Now on this inhale, we're going to graze our fingers on the mat, coming up into Utkatasana or chair pose. Starting from the ground, we're putting a lot of the weight into our heels, almost letting our toes come up off the floor. If you can kind of wiggle them, you should be able to see them. Push your knees back just slightly so that you can see your toes. Almost as if you're falling backward. We want to ride that edge there where we're almost falling backward because our weight is so far back. We're pulling that belly button up and in toward the spine, allowing the natural curve in our back to remain. You don't want to tuck that tailbone too much or it puts unnecessary pressure on your lumbar spine. So keeping that curve, pulling the tailbone kind of down to the back of our mat while the crown of our head is pulling toward the ceiling. Rolling those shoulder blades down the back so that the shoulders are pulled down away from the ears. Triceps are toward your temples. Arms are nice and straight, but try and relax your fingertips. You can kind of give them a little bit of a wiggle. And gaze can be either down at the floor, finding your drishti, or kind of your focus attention point. It helps us to keep our balance. Or they can be up toward your fingertips. As a reference here, your arms are really shoulder width apart. They don't need to be squeezed next to your temples. You're utilizing way too many things and engaging too many muscles that way. So kind of to relax the shoulders, we have to open the arms up a little bit. Exhale, we're going to go ahead and forward fold, bringing again the rib cage to the quads here. Allowing our knees to stay bent until we have enough space in our bodies to start straightening and lengthening. Still pulling the tailbone kind of up to the sky here. Releasing the muscles in our neck and allowing our head to hang, pulling the crown of our head toward the floor or toward the front of our mat. Inhale, pulling the navel in, extending the legs, coming up onto the fingertips, pulling the crown of the head toward the front of the mat, and kind of pulling the chin tucking up into our neck. Exhale, we're going to plant the hands, step back to plank. Holding our plank here, we're pushing through the floor as much as we can to create as much space between our chest and the mat as possible. Distributing our weight evenly between the palms of our hands all the way to our fingertips. Pulling the eye of the elbow forward, triceps to the back of the mat. Pulling the shoulders down away from the ears, crown of the head toward the front of the mat, pulling our belly button in and up, engaging the quads, engaging the kneecaps, pushing all the way through the ball of our feet. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga. We're going to stop here when our elbows are at a 90-degree angle. Pulling that navel in, legs are engaged on the toes of our feet. Inhale, upward facing dog here. If you're more comfortable in cobra, if you're not quite ready for upward facing dog, you can go ahead and lower to the floor, and then you're going to pull up to cobra here, always pulling that navel up and into the spine. go ahead and exhale, downward facing dog. In down dog, again, feel free to keep those knees a little bit bent until you have the space in your hamstrings. That could take minutes, it could take weeks, it could take years. So be patient with your body and listen to what you need. Pushing all the way through the tips of our fingers, but also relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. So our arms are strong, but shoulders are relaxed. Pulling that navel up and into the spine, kind of relaxing the muscles of the neck. If you can, lower those heels to the ground. Feel free to do so. Here we're gonna pull the right leg up, toes facing down to the mat, heel to the sky, hips are square to the floor. We don't wanna open the hips here because it could actually be damaging on the left hip. That is the weight-bearing hip, of the weight-bearing leg, I should say. So hips stay nice and square to the floor, shoulders are square to the floor. Does not matter how high your leg is. We're gonna inhale up onto the toe, exhale, bring the right knee to your chest. This is where the blocks really come in handy. We're pushing through the floor, creating a lot of space between the floor and our chest, stepping that right foot through, straight to the front of the mat. Here we're gonna take our left back foot, turn the toes on a 45-degree angle to the front left corner of our mat, setting the heel down. And before we stand up, we're gonna push our weight backward into the left side of our left foot, if that makes sense. The outside of our left foot is taking some of our weight here. So on the inhale, we're gonna slowly rise to warrior one. So that left foot is at a 45-degree angle. Hips are square to the front of the mat. So we're really engaging our left glute here to make sure that those hips are able to get square. We're pulling always the core in, engaging the core, pulling up the navel, pulling those ribs down and in to make sure we're engaging everything in the center area. Shoulders are drawn down away from the ears. Arms are straight but fairly relaxed. Wiggle your fingers. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're gonna go ahead and plant the hands. Pull the right foot back to plank. Shift forward on the inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Feel free to continue utilizing your blocks. I'm gonna just move mine out of the way. As you get a little bit more space, do what feels right for you in your practice. We're gonna repeat that on the left side. So go ahead and raise the left leg up, keeping the hips square to the mat, shoulders square to the mat. Toes are facing the floor, not the left side of the room. Although it's tempting to open up our hips, super important that we stay square to the floor here. Inhale onto the ball of the right foot. Exhale, bring the left knee into your chest and step through. Turning the right foot out. If you even want to scoot the right foot slightly to the right, it makes it easier and easier the further that is to the right to square our hips to the front of the mat. So depending on your practice and depending on your body and your tightness that day, you might have your left foot all the way on the left, your right foot all the way on the right, and that is great. It's whatever you need, whatever your body needs today. So 45-degree angle with the back foot. Go ahead and square the hips. Inhale to rise, warrior one. Engaging the right glutes to square the hips to the front of the mat. Maybe even bring your hands down and feel your hips. They should feel even here. And if not, feel free to, again, move the left foot to the left, move the right foot to the right until you're able to achieve that. Pulling that navel up and in, pulling the rib cage down, relaxing the shoulders, wiggling the fingers, pulling the crown of the head to the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead, plant the hands, step back to plank. Shift forward, inhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, sucking that navel up and in, pulling the crown of your head to the front of the room here. Pulling the chin back to neutralize your neck. Exhale, forward fold, knees bent. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Maybe two. Focus on the breath. Focus on slowing down the heart rate. I'm going to go through this again. Inhale. Raise the fingers along the floor. Utkatasana or chair pose. Focus on how your body looks, the correct posture. We just went through all of this. So kind of take your inventory from your toes all the way up to your fingers. Make sure you can see your toes, weights pushing backwards, belly button sucked in, shoulders are relaxed. Exhale, forward fold. As you find more space, go ahead and straighten those legs. Maybe you even want to pedal it out this time, bending the right knee to your ribs, bending the left knee to your ribs. Always trying to keep a straight spine. One more. Great, guys. Go ahead and halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop. If you're hopping, go straight to chaturanga. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, halfway lift. Upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg up. Hips square to the mat, shoulders square to the mat. Come onto the toes. Exhale, right knee to chest. Bringing the right foot slightly to the right, left foot slightly to the left on a 45-degree angle. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, plant the hands, come onto the ball of the left foot. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg swings up. Hips square to the mat. Onto the ball of the right foot. Exhale, left knee to chest, stepping through. Inhale, squaring the hips, up to warrior one. Again, testing your balance if you need to step that right foot out. Exhale, plant the hands, come onto the ball of the right foot, stepping back to plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, step or hop. As quietly and as controlled as you can. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, stand. Hands to heart center. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Finding more space each time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop. Chaturanga. Inhale, halfway lift. Upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg up. Hips square to the mat. Onto the ball of the left foot. Exhale, step through. Making a little bit more space. Inhale, square the hips to the front. Warrior one. Exhale, plant the hands. Back to plank, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, step through. Get your stance. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, plant the hands. Plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, balls of the feet. Exhale, step or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale this time, arms up overhead. Kind of clasping the hands and then pushing the palm of the hand toward the ceiling. And we're gonna pull the arms backward, back behind the ears, pushing the tailbone back to the back of the mat, sucking the belly button in, and we're gonna pulse here. Good, inhale back up. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale, pull back. One more, inhale up. Exhale, back. Inhale up, hands clasped behind the back. Pull the shoulders down away from the ears, pulling the heart to the sky. Pulling the belly button in. And just let the crown of your head fall back to wherever is comfortable. Good, inhale back to the top. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Hanging the neck here, letting the head kind of dangle. Shake it back and forth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're gonna heel toe our feet about to the edges of our mat here. Toes out, heels a little bit in. We're gonna bend the knees, and we're gonna come into a Yogi Squat or Malasana. If you have your block or a bolster or a pillow, anything about this size, go ahead and squeeze it in between your legs so that it comes to an area where you can sit on it. Sometimes blocks and props help us to further express our postures. So don't think of it as a crutch or cheating in any way. It actually helps us to get into a full expression of the posture. So here we're pulling the tailbone down to the floor, pulling the crown of the head up to the ceiling. We're taking our elbows and kind of pushing our knees outward so that our hands can be parallel with the ground, or I should say our arms and wrists and forearms are parallel with the ground, kind of pushing themselves together while pushing the knees out, pulling the navel into the spine and relaxing the shoulders down the back. Take a few deep breaths here. On each exhale, find somewhere where you're tensing and relax that. The muscles of the face, the jaw, the back. Big inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to bring it back to a wide-legged forward fold, turning the toes inward to the front of the mat. Big inhale, halfway lift. And on the exhale, you can go ahead and come to a seated position. After Surya Namaskar B, you might want to stretch out your quads a little bit. I like to do some hip stretches too, so go ahead and kind of stack one leg on top of the other. We're stacking our heels kind of in line with our knees. Start with maybe left over right. We're sitting here. It's okay if this knee can't quite get down. If you want to grab a block, if your hips aren't quite open enough, you can put a block here. You can put a block underneath your right knee as well. Do whatever your body needs today. So pulling the crown of the head to the sky, pulling the navel in. We're just going to slowly start to lean forward. We're not hunching the back. Spine should stay nice and straight. We're just pulling the crown of the head toward the upper, corner of the room in front of you. If you can slowly start walking your hands forward. Sometimes I grab a pillow here and I just kind of put it in between my legs and lay on it. Again, whatever feels comfortable for you and allows your body the space that it needs to open up. Breathing into our hips here. Next inhale, go ahead and walk it back in. And we're going to switch legs. Breathing all the way up, extending the spine, lengthening before we lean forward. Keeping that spine as straight as possible here. does not matter how deep you get. All that matters is that you feel the stretch. And you should mostly feel this in your outer hip. If your right leg's on top, you're mostly going to feel it in your right outer hip, and vice versa on the left. Always relaxing any muscles that you're not utilizing in this moment. On your next inhale, go ahead and walk it back in. And if you want to Shavasana here, or if you want to move on to the next video, a general rule of thumb is Shavasana for 5 minutes for every 20 minutes that you flow, or 20 minutes that you practice. So do what you need in your practice today, and I will see you on your mat tomorrow. Thank you guys.